This episode is brought to you by Prime. What if you had one more chance with the one that got away?
Sam.
You came home.
Based on the best-selling novel from Carly Fortune. Every Year After follows childhood friends Sam and Percy as they reunite in the dreamy, nostalgic lakeside town of Barry's Bay.
Love can be hard to find. So if you're lucky enough to find that person, never let go.
A second chance at first love. Every Year After, now streaming only on Prime.
This episode is brought to you by Redfin. You're listening to a podcast, which means you're probably multitasking. Maybe even scrolling home listings on Redfin, saving homes without expecting to get them. But Redfin isn't just built for endless browsing. It's built to help you find and own a home. With agents who close twice as many deals, when you find the one, you've got a real shot at getting it. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
This podcast is the Robots Radio Rocket Club, a program designed to help all podcasts reach their full potential. For information about joining the Robots Radio Rocket Club, check out robotsradio.net.
Welcome to the Gundam Lorecast, where we take a deep dive into the Mobile Suit Gundam series, such as the multiple timelines, mobile suits, characters, and so much more. Welcome back, pilots, to another episode of the Gundam Lorecast. I'm one of your hosts, Brandon, or also known as Ben of Temeria, and always with me is my good friend, Jesse.
How's it going, everybody?
And today we are bringing you two mobile suits, continuing with our mobile suit season, clearly. The first one we're going to be going over is a requested by one of our listeners, so... Sal, I think this was your request. He's also in our Discord, which is awesome too. So go join our Discord, by the way. You can ask for mobile suits if you want us to go over them. And also stay tuned for the mid-break because we have some awesome news from Summer's Game Fest that me and Jesse clearly were not expecting to see at all. We'll get to that. So the first mobile suit that we're diving into today is the MSA-001 EX-S Gundam, or aka the Extraordinary Superior Gundam, which is an upgraded version of the S Gundam that appears in the Gundam Sentinel and is piloted by Rio Roots. Yeah, this thing is like a freaking armory on legs. Like, this thing has so much.
It's absolutely ridiculous. And you know what? It does fit with what I was just thinking. So I was just thinking, this is season 4, episode 20. We should do something just absolutely unhinged and ridiculous. And, it fits.
It does. It does fit. And I did not plan that.
I didn't think about it until just now. And I was like,
to look at the show notes. Oh, this is what
This'll
episode
work.
we're on. So yeah, going into these technology and combat characteristics. So by adding several new armor, weapons, and engine modules to the modules, the engineers of the Task Force Alpha's Paragus 3 were able to upgrade the S Gundam into the EX-S Gundam. The EX-S Gundam still had 3 cockpits, but Rio Roots was the only person who piloted the mobile suit, and due to Rio's poor piloting skills, it was up to Alice, the EX-S Gundam's highly advanced artificial intelligence combat computer, to do most of the fighting against more skilled opponents. Yes, it has Alice, by the way. Alice, if you don't know, is also, isn't that the core processing of XAM? Or no, it's its own thing, I think. It's similar to XAM and the Hades system, where they essentially took an actual human being, killed them, and used their, brain as an artificial intelligence, which is not good. Anyway, moving on from that dark thing. So with Alice functioning as the co-pilot of the EX-S Gundam, she was constantly getting more advanced. Alice was constantly growing in comprehension and depth, and was swiftly evolving into something more akin to a fully rationalizing and thinking creature than a simple machine. Alice could take full control of the EX-S Gundam and its various components and weapons at any time, and would begin to do so constantly at times when she felt that the EX-S or Rio was threatened. Alice proved to be useful to co-pilot the EX-S Gundam and more than capable of compensating for Rio's lack of skill. which is good. For defensive purposes, the EX-S Gundam featured additional armor in the front of the chest, where afforded extra protection for the first two cockpits. This extra chest armor was also featured in eye field generator, which created an invisible barrier of Minovsky particles around the EX-S Gundam cockpit block, protecting it from the ranged beam attacks. Additional armor was added in the front of the torso, also protected the third cockpit, while extra armor on both sides of the legs featured more veneers, additional propellant tanks, and thrusters. So the thing's massive. It's beefy.
Yeah, it is quite chunky.
Yeah. So the two large thruster units that were mounted on the EX-S Gundam's back, giving it more incredible speed and thrust and speed. Two large caliber beam cannons were mounted on both thruster units, giving the EX-S Gundam two more back beam cannons than the S Gundam. The EX-S Gundam's beam smart rifle now attached to the front torso of the mobile suit instead of the hips, making a room for the two hip beam cannons that were optional on the S Gundam can be attached to the sides of the EX-S Gundam, weights permanently. The EX-S Gundam's head featured four 60mm Vulcan guns, while four additional 60mm Vulcans were mounted on the tail stabilizer attached to the back. As you can tell, there's a lot of weapons. If you haven't gotten that so far. So the EX-S Gundam also had a remote weaponry in the form of the NCOM, a small wire-guided red disc stored in the EX-S Gundam's forehead that could fire beams when deployed. The EX-S Gundam also featured two reflector NCOMs stored in the large knee armor, which can be deployed and guided by a wire like a standard NCOM. Reflector NCOMs do not fire beams, but instead reflect beams fired from the EX-S Gundam or another unit and redirect it in another direction. And then lastly, for use in melee combat situations, the EX-S Gundam featured two beam sabers also stored in the knee armor. Oh my god. First off, the reflectors are pretty awesome. Redirecting beams?
Yeah.
That's awesome. And this is before, like, SciComm was a thing, by the way. Well, like, heavily used, anyway. So, unlike its predecessor, the EX-S Gundam also was capable of transforming into a Wave Rider mode of sorts, but unlike the S Gundam, which is divided into three separate components, the EX-S Gundam changes into one large unit called the G Cruiser. For its size, the G Cruiser was incredibly fast and used for traveling over a great distance in a short amount of time. To conserve the fuel of the EX-S Gundam for use in combat situations, the G Cruiser had two large propellant tanks mounted on the front side in the front over the EX-S Gundam shoulders. These extra fuel tanks would be ejected when the G Cruiser reached the battlefield and transformed into the EX-S Gundam. Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot there.
Yeah.
But now we get into more info, specifically all of its weapons and armaments. So, obviously, like I said earlier, has 60mm Vulcan guns. So, a standard armament of mobile suits descended from the Earth Federation Forces RX series. These shell-firing weapons have high rate of fire, but little power to can't damage the armor of mobile suits, but they can damage highly armored areas, such as the sensors. They also are a deal for shooting down small, highly armored targets, such as missiles, attack vehicles, etc. The EX-S Gundam has 4 Vulcan guns in its head and another 4 in the tail stabilizer. So a total of 8 Vulcans. Why? That's that's a lot. Then we have a beam cannons.
Yeah.
So the EX-S Gundam is equipped with 6 beam cannons, 4 on the back to have a power rating of 12 MW, and the remaining 2 on the thighs that have a power rating of 14 MW. I'm assuming Minovsky something is the MW stands for, but
Yeah.
6. There's 6 of them. And 2 on the thighs are stronger than the ones on the back.
Yeah. For reasons and such.
For reasons. Then we have the Beam Saber. So the standard close-range armament from most Federation mobile suits. The Beam Saber is a small device held in the mobile suit's hands. When operated, it is powered by a rechargeable energy capacitor. It emits a blade and plasma containing the eye field that can cut through armor and treated with a anti-beam coating. The EX-S Gundam has 2 Beam Sabers with a power rating of 0.9 MW and stored in the knees. because it doesn't have any backpack stores for this because the thing's massive. Then we have the NCOM. So a remote weapon designed for the use of the quasi-SciComm system is a disc-shaped device that is internal beam gun and controlled via the wire cables. Every time the NCOM charges its flight direction, it deploys a tiny relay incom to hold the wire in place and maintain its connection to a parent mobile suit. When the pilot recalls the incom, it retraces its course as the wire is retracted, and the EX-S Gundam has an incom in its head, and the beam gun has a power rating of at 3.8 MW.
Crazy.
Yeah. Now we have reflector incom. So the reflector incom is an incom that is not equipped with a beam gun. Instead, it mounts eye-field equipment for reflecting a beam in a controlled direction. Reflector incoms can be used to redirect shots so it can be attacked from multiple angles. The EX-S Gundam is equipped with 2 reflector incoms stored in the knees. Yeah. And then we have, last but not least, the Beam Smart Gun. So the Beam Smart Gun is a large and powerful beam rifle with the power rating of 56 MW. Is the most powerful weapon in the EX-S Gundam's arsenal because of its immense power. The lack of independent power supply capable of sustaining it, the Beam Smart Gun must be connected directly to the EX-S Gundam's generator. On the original S Gundam, this required the removal of the beam cannons on the thighs. However, thanks to the new equipment, is no longer necessary on the EX-S Gundam. So, yeah, more firepower. Why not? Hooray!
Yeah.
And now we have special equipment and features. So we have the Alice system, advanced logistics, and in-consequence cognizing equipment. So it is artificial intelligence that co-pilots the EX-S Gundam and intervenes several times to save Rio, and over time develops the true full awareness. So a true partner for Rio.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Yes.
And then it has an eye-field generator, so meant in this central cavity of the extra chest armor. The eye-field generator is normally inactive due to the massive power consumption and is constantly charged by the generators. When necessary, it activates for several seconds, projecting an anti-beam barrier around the cockpit area, which kind of helps, protect the pilot.
Yeah.
And then a little bit on its history. So the EX-S Gundam was the first fielded by the Task Force Alpha during the few battles over Ares City on the surface of the moon. The EX-S Gundam continuously used mopping up new Decide's forces before suffering heavy damage in the final fight against the URX-013 Gundam Mark V. This, in addition to the need of the field's superior numbers rather than all-in-one firepower, leads Task Force Alpha to send out individual components of the S Gundam in the final battle against the new Decides, rather than repairing the fielding the EX-S. Oh my god, and the Mark V is pretty chunky too.
Yes, it is.
Honestly, it looks like pretty close to... It was a custom unit and designed by Amuro Ray. Huh. It's developed into the Dovin Wolf.
Okay.
Which, yeah, I can see that.
Makes sense.
And then that gets developed into the Silver Bullet. And then you get all the different versions of Silver Bullet. Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And a little bit on its notes and trivia. So Anaheim sometimes recalls the S Gundam, the I Gundam, Ita Gundam, or
Iota.
Iota Gundam. Iota is the 9th letter in the Greek alphabet. In the system of Greek numerals, it has the value of 10. And according to the official data file, EXT is meant to stand for extraordinary. Okay. Not extension.
Fair enough.
Because isn't EXT normally extension, typically?
Yeah, commonly, yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. EX-S appears in the special unit exclusive to the PS3 version of Mobile Suit Gundam Extreme versus Full Boost. As a bonus, the first print copy purchases, similar to how the High New was offered for the previous PS3 title, it has since remained in the series at a cost of $3,000. Is a unique among the entire roster, even for Extreme, for being pilotless. Presumably is being operated by Alice, as its EX burst is named after her. When going into EX mode, however, the cut-in portrait is that of a shadowed pilot. Although the voice of the pilot is merely a set of repeated beeps.
Fair enough, I guess.
Yeah. Hence, for Alice being artificial intelligence and not having, an actual voice. So, kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Its high-grade UC model lacks the propellant tanks and transformation gimmick. Aw. I mean, for a model kit, I guess that makes sense. The bigger ones are really hard, are much harder to do the transformation gimmicks. Though I'm pretty sure the Double Zeta has it, and that one's beefy.
I think so.
And then, due to legal issues, Ryu Roots is replaced by Mao Yasaka from Gundam Build Fighters as the pilot in SD Gundam G Generations Eternal. Oh. I was wondering about that because I literally saw the banner for that like a month or so ago when they had it in the game. I was wondering why Mao was the one as the pilot. I was like, that's not his though. He has his own custom Gunpla and custom suits. But I guess, I guess there's legal issues. Interesting. But, all right. Well, with that being said, that is the EX-S Gundam. So let's take a quick mid-break, thank our awesome listeners, and we'll be right back.
You have one new message. Translating. Disney and Pixar's Hoppers is now available on Disney+.
You could say that again.
Critics are calling it Pixar's funniest movie ever and a wildly entertaining ride. Blizzard Potato. It's certified fresh and verified hot.
Now we party.
This is incredible!
Wow, I am clearing the rest of the day.
Disney and Pixar's Hoppers, now available on Disney+. Rated PG.
All right, welcome to the Miller Show. We're talking about everything about podcasts. There's nothing to do with the lore of Gundam. Here, we want to thank all our amazing listeners. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show and listening. And if you want to help to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/GundamLoreCast, where you can get ad-free episodes or even join us once a month on the show itself. You can also leave us ratings and reviews on Apple or Spotify. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple with some words or a nice Spotify comment. Read it out loud next time on the show, which we do have one from Santiago. Would you guys do an episode on the Mud Rock, please, even though there isn't much on it? Yes, I did look it up before the show. There's not a whole lot on it. It is a custom Mark 5? I don't know. It was from one of the Zeonic Assault or Zeonic Front game back on the PS2. So yeah, totally. We'll just probably pair it with another obscure mobile suit that not a lot of people know about, so eventually we'll do that one, obviously. And you also can find us on a few different Discord servers, the Robots Radio Discord at robotsradio.net, as well as my own Discord server, the Band of Friends Podcasting Discord, where you can find this show and all the shows we host, which are the Dragon Ball Lorecast, the Holocron History, Star Wars Canon vs. Legends, the Final Fantasy Lorecast, the Wizard World Lorecast, and the Witcher Lorecast. All right. Now we get into the news. So, Summer's Game Fest was this past Friday, and I don't know if anybody saw, but there was something on during that announcement stream of a game that was clearly not on mine or Jesse's bingo card. We're getting a new Gundam game, guys.
Yeah.
Clearly out of nowhere. And if you saw the trailer, if you see the gameplay, they showed a little bit about it. It's clearly inspired by Armored Core because Armored Core was very successful. But it's that style of gameplay, so don't expect GB4 or anything like that. And you're not like creating your own Gundam or anything like that. You'll have its own Gundam. So, the key features of the new Gundam game, called Gundam Rogue Orbit, which is going to be a high mobility action game that delivers a bold new take on Gundam through fast cinematic combat in an all new universe. So they straight up confirm this is a new IP in the Gundam series. This is going to have its own continuity, completely separate from everything else, which makes sense because it looks like we're fighting some sort of robotic alien style of thing. Not sure yet, obviously. I mean, for all we know, it could be like a Gundam Age situation where they think they're aliens, but they're actually mobile suits. So could be that. Hoping it's not what we get in Double O, because I don't want to do that. But regardless, they're gigantic, animalistic, like metal weapon things, aliens possibly. So you become the pilot. So step in the cockpit as the pilot of the Gundam Helix and join a ragtag crew. Unsung soldiers of humanity faces a powerful unknown threat. You take control and jump into fast and hard-hitting melee combat. Every fight rewards skill, mastery, and quick, decisive action as you push your Gundam to its limits. In the cinematic story of the Gundam Rogue Orbit is a daring new chapter in the Gundam saga, built on the perfect entry point for new players and thrilling evolution for longtime fans. So, that's all they've given us. It is set for 2027. So, it is coming out for PS5, Xbox Series, X and S, and PC. So, whole new game coming out next year. Super excited. Again, was not expecting to see a Gundam game at all.
No, not at all.
From what we at least gathered from the trailer, it looks like we get to create our own pilot at least. As far if the Gundam Helix is customizable, that's up in the air. We don't know. But at least we have a name for it. So there's that.
Yeah.
But I guess Jesse has some unhinged news or something like that. I don't know.
I have some unhinged, so some not first. So Shadow Gundam, Gilbo-san's Girazulu, and Korin's Girazulu, the reissues of those high grades are up for pre-order.
Ooh, they're redoing Shadow?
Yes. So that is up for pre-order.
AKA Spiegel?
Yes.
Good for the US fans.
The next thing on here, if you really like Hathaway's Sorcery of Nymph Circe, or just Hathaway in general, you can get a handheld fan, as in not like a traditional flapping fan, like a little handheld powered fan.
Oh,
about $30.
interesting.
It's USB chargeable.
Oh, okay, interesting.
And the final, this is the real unhinged one. They have started with a Border Friends Mobile Suit Gundam collab. You can get pairs of socks that is the mobile suits from Universal Century as stripes. So essentially, it's literally like Char Zaku, and it's stripes and then a dot so you can tell that it's the eye, and it's got like the little horn.
What? Oh, okay.
They are socks.
How much are the socks? Do they have a price tag?
600 yen each. Not that much.
All right, well, they're socks, so go figure. What the heck? All right, well, the main important one was Gundam Rogue Orbit, which obviously we had to talk about. And yeah, again, was not expecting a Gundam game to be announced at all. Honestly, I kind of wish they announced, hey, Season Pass 2 for GB4.
Yeah,
well, the game's been out for like, what, year, 2 years? How long has that been out? Almost two?
I think two. I think.
That's sad, but I mean, we got a bunch of other game news that we saw during Summer's Game Fest that was super exciting, especially for us in our Discord, because we're a bunch of nerds and we love Final Fantasy. So clearly, we ate really good for this for Summer's Game Fest. And even the Nintendo Direct today, as of recording on Tuesday the 9th, we had the Nintendo Direct earlier today, which had a bunch of news that we weren't expecting. Another Final Fantasy game. for
Yeah.
this year, which wasn't expecting that, but super excited nonetheless. So
Yeah, that's huge.
yeah, stay tuned for the go listen on Friday for this Final Fantasy Lorecast, where we're going to be diving into all of the news for Final Fantasy from Summer's Game Fest, because yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot to talk about. So yeah, let's get back into our show and talk about our second mobile suit, the Gundam Pixy.
Choice Hotels get you more of what you value. Comfort Inn, it's calling your name. Save on the stay. Oh, and free waffles are yours to claim. Book direct at choicehotels.com.
Spotify, it's Jay Shetty. Are you one of those media strategy people? Scrolling through spreadsheets, searching for an audience that pays twice as much attention to your ads than they do on social? Let me introduce you to Fans. And they're here with me on Spotify. Trust me, I know Fans. They don't skip, they stay for hours. They don't move on, they manifest. They're not a demographic group, they're fans.
Spotify advertising. You're among fans.
All right, so now we have the RX-78XX Gundam Pixy, which is a prototype close-quarters combat mobile suit introduced in the video game Mobile Suit Gundam Cross Dimension 0079. Known pilots included Bork Cry and Fred Reber. It's also, there's an event right now going on in SD Gundam G Generations Eternal, specifically with the Pixie.
Yeah.
So go play that and you can get the Pixie yourself. The Pixie is also really fun to use in battle operations too. Because I use the Pixie in battle operations. It's a lot of fun. So the technology and combat characteristics. So this is a variant of the RX-78 series. The RX-78XX Gundam Pixy was a high-performance close combat ground mobile suit created by the Earth Federation forces for the use of their ace pilots during Operation Odessa. The Gundam Pixy was specifically lighter than its RX-78 brethren due to removing the core block system and thrusters for outer space, and as a consequence is faster and more agile. It also possessed enhanced apogee motors that would allow it to achieve burst thrusts exceeding that of the RX-78-2 Gundam. However, it is relatively light armed with head-mounted Vulcan guns, a shell-firing submachine gun, and a pair of beam daggers, which is pretty unique. Daggers you don't really see too often in any mobile suit. It's normally a
they're not very common.
So going into its armaments, so we have the 60mm Vulcan gun, so mounted in the head. These shell-firing weapons have a high rate of fire but little power. They're ideal for shooting down small, lightly armed targets such as missiles, attack vehicles, etc. We have the beam and dagger. So as this unit was designed with an emphasis on melee combat, there we go, is equipped with a pair of proprietary beam daggers as its primary close combat weapons. The beam daggers can also be used as throwing weapons and are stored in the side skirt armor when not in use, which are fun to use in battle operations too, because they are really quick compared to beam sabers.
Yeah.
And it's also a it's a raid style. It's a raid category mobile suit. So it can do like 3 attacks at once, or like you can do a 3 attack combo instead of the standard 2.
Yeah.
So then it also has a 90mm submachine gun. So this mobile suit uses a submachine gun. It does not require energy to be used, however, is ineffective against heavy armor. When the magazine is empty, it can be discarded and replaced with a new one carried on the side of each of the forearm. When required, the Pixie can use another 90mm submachine gun for increased firepower. So it can dual wield Tommy guns, essentially.
Yeah. It's amusing.
Which is freaking hilarious.
Actually, it's a bullpup, so it's not even a Tommy gun, isn't it?
Well, the submachine gun is essentially a Tommy gun.
Is it?
Kind of. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just kind of like it.
Yeah.
All I can think of is like, oh god, what movie? Is Al Capone? Gets the 2 Tommy guns and starts freaking firing and spraying.
I mean, it's a safe bet.
Yeah, right? So now we have the 90 millimeter bullpup machine gun. So the bullpup machine gun was a system weapon developed as a space ground dual use projectile weapon. Though compact, it is significant in its anti-mobile suit firepower while maintaining accuracy. Its muzzle velocity is increased due to the power of new gunpowder and enables it to easily penetrate the armor of Xeon mobile suits. A box-like sensor system incorporating a video camera and laser sensor is installed at the top, and when its system is used alongside the Pixie's targeting system, target acquisition compatibility is enhanced, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And then we have the beam gun. So equipped by Lilith Aiden's customized unit, this is the same beam firearm that is used by the Jim Command space type, a next generation beam weapon developed as a testbed for the new category of weapon between the beam rifle and beam spray gun, resulting in the new beam gun category. This most unique feature, the large beam accelerator and battery pack located on the top of the rear portion of the weapon. These mechanics created a type of beam that, in addition to pinpoint penetration of targets, also has the side effect of cutting through the internal systems of its targets, which would be very effective at disabling the target. Which, that's pretty cool. You shoot something and it disables like an arm or something like that, even though it hasn't fully destroyed it. Pretty useful. And then special equipment features. It has a beam stealth coat, which is a special coating with unknown capabilities, because we know it has it, but we don't know what it does. Pretty much is. Yeah. All right. And now for the history. So the RX-78XX Gundam Pixy was developed under the G4 project, a next-generation mobile suit development project jointly conducted by the Federation Space Force, Army, Navy, and Air Force near the end of the One-Year War. 3 Gundam Pixy units were known to have been constructed, with Unit 1 being sent to Belfast, Unit 3 assigned to Africa, and Unit 2 being stored at the Albatross base in the Gobi Desert in preparation to be transferred to the Paragus-class assault carrier SCV-70 White Base for the use at Odessa. When the Principality of Xeon forces commenced Operation Desert Dragon and attacked the Albatross base, the Gundam Pixy was commandeered by Captain Brokrai of the Albatross transportation team to fight off the Xeon mobile suits. The ultimate fate of the Gundam Pixy is uncertain. The unit may have been destroyed at the night of October 19th. UC-0079 engaged in a fierce battle against Captain Henry Boone, leader of Xeon's White Wolf Gar team, piloting the MS-08TX Ifrit. At the rest of the Wolfgar team, which was successfully infiltrated Albatross base, Major Noct Gadish, commander of the Albatross base, fled in the Medea, abandoning Brook and the Gundam Pixy. In the end, only one thing is certain: the Gundam Pixy never arrived on the White base as planned. Which with this crossover during an SD Gundam G Generations that's going on right now, you can experience this entire story, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So in November, UC-0079, Doris Brand from Slave Wraith somehow tamed a Gundam Pixy and gave it to Fried Reber. It is unclear whether this Pixy is a Unit 2 repaired or an illegally obtained Unit 1. Its first mission was to attack a Xeon base in the coast of Dover Sea to clear the way for the Baton, a flagship of General Revel. Here, Reber countered the Pixy's old nemesis, the Ifrit, whose pilot was the instructor of the Xeon Corps' Marchurus? I don't know how you say that.
I don't.
We'll go with it.
Yeah.
However, before the duel was settled, Slave Race Medea bombed the Xeon base, and the whole group retreated. And then in December, UC-0079, another Gundam Pixy was deployed in North America in pursuit of the Nemesis Instructor Corps. It is unclear whether this unit was the one of the original 3 or an off-the-record unit. This Pixy was assigned to Cortez, who managed to defeat Captain Hawk Reeser and his GM Type C, along with the 3 mobile suits of the Sleipnir Corps.
Sleipnir.
Sleipnir. Before continuing pursuit of Arcana, who used the distraction to withdraw. The Pixie was destroyed, and Cortez was killed in the final confrontation with UG's Jim Stryker at California base. Yeah.
Which Sleipnir is Odin's horse.
Yes. That I do know. Okay. I know some Norse mythology. And it's also, it also doesn't help that Final Fantasy uses Norse mythology too. So,
yeah.
And then we do have one variant of Gundam Pixy, the LA version. So appearing in the game Mobile Suit Gundam Battle Operations Code Fairy, it is the customized mobile suit of the ace pilot Lilith Aiden, who is equipped with additional armor on various parts of its body, and the beam daggers have been replaced by beam sabers stored in the backpack. At Lilith's request, the mobile suit is armed with the same twin beam spear as used by the Jim Stryker. It also has the well-balanced firearms for short to medium range combat, such as the beam gun used by the Jim Command space type, and the Balzac type 380mm rocket bazooka used by the Jim Cannon space assault type. Overall, this customized unit suit has better versatility than the original Gundam Pixy. Which, yes, this mobile suit is fun to use in Battle Operations 2. It's also, I have fully played Code Fairy from start to finish. It's a good game. It uses Battle Operation 2's obviously gameplay. If you play this game and then have the same account with Battle Operations 2, you'll get added stuff to Battle Operations 2, specifically some of the mobile suits and some other cool items and whatnot. The story is really cool, really fun to use. You use a customized. There's a mobile suit called Titania, which is obviously the queen of fairies in myth. I forget. I think it's a custom. Is it a custom Ifrit? No, it's just the Titania's a mobile suit, Universal SC Gundam G generation. Oh no, that's not the one I want. That's not it. What the heck?
There's a lot of them, but it's the MS-18NF is the one from Code Fairy.
Yeah, that one. That's pretty cool.
It is.
But yeah, it's cool. It was not fun fighting the Gundam Pixy LA in Code Fairy because oh my god, it was very difficult. Because if you ever play Gundam Operations 2, the gameplay is not the easiest gameplay because it's very strategic and very army tactics based.
Yeah,
it's not your standard like GB4 where you're just literally button mashing and killing things left and right. It's not that type. You have to be very strategic. So, yeah, that's all we have in the Gundam Pixy, which is pretty cool, pretty fun. It's fun to use in GB4 in Battle Operations. So, go play Battle Operations if you haven't already. It's free to play. And they've been adding a bunch of mobile suits that are not in the Universal Sentry in the game, which is kind of throwing me off. So many. It's really throwing me. They just added the Freedom, and they added another one. They have a Gundam Wing from Endless Waltz.
Mm-hmm.
And they have Burning Gundam. I'm trying to think what else they have. I don't know. There's a bunch from UC. They're just dropping in the game left and right, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So, but all right, Jesse, do you have any final thoughts or anything on either the Pixy or the EX-S?
Nope, nothing I can think of.
Cool. Well, everybody, thank you again for listening to the Gundam Lorecast, and remember, pilots, stay safe out there. Thank you for listening to the Gundam Lorecast. You can find us on the Robots Radio Discord at robotsradio.net, the Ben and Friends podcasting Discord, where you can share how you got into the Gundam series, and you can even find us on Twitter at Gundam Lorecast, and even email us at gundamlorecast@outlook.com.